Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books, sweethearts, we grow.
All right, welcome back. And back again. We just recorded for 40 minutes and had to restart. So
Because I did the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm here to fix it.
Ashley and Chrissy are in person together. I'm in my regular spot. And we're going to get after it.
First, we have the rapid recap of last episode. So I tried to make it a little more witty, but Kier's crashed a monster-packed Versailles party to steal a Nymph Queen's bracelet. Graves shows up flirty and possessive, says, I'm handing my wife to somebody trying to get her. Threw her off balance, but she still snagged the bracelet, outrun guards, trolls, and a shady car chase. And that landed her in a new game for the mysterious cauldron, which we know Graves is going after. Kierce is put to the test by Estelle, who Graves thinks has the cauldron. Kierce survives illusions, riddles, and a magic sapping ambush, escaping with a hairpin, and leads to a tension-filled night with Graves. Next, we are in the Nying Market. There are goblin fruit traps, bar fights, and monster guards. We finally got to our bookkeeper, Rio, who demanded dark truths to give Kierce what she needed to regain her memories. This potion ritual restores some of her memories of hiding, thieving lessons from her dad, her parents being productive, and we kind of close things off with a flashback of her parents seeking Graves' help to keep her safe from the Fae Killer, right? Fae Killer?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
We left off with me being probably overly spicy about the situation.
To which we decided you are now.
I am now
medium.
less spicy about it, but I still disagree with it. To each their own.
She is not happy, but she's not as lit up.
Yeah, I was on something. I was on a tear last week.
Yeah.
But that was the rapid recap. On to the interlude.
All right, interlude. Can't speak. We are getting Oisin's perspective. So we start, he's reminiscing about his long lost wife, which we did learn last episode, or we didn't, but we three learned that he had ventured into the Fae world. He was married to Neve.
It looks like
Neve. And something happened. He was sent to the mortal world and was stuck, essentially. So he has been without his wife for hundreds and hundreds of years and just trying, essentially, to get back there. So he's reminiscing on the first time he met Graves. He was a young fisherman. This was well before anything that we've known of him yet. He is still going by Brennan, which we know now he despises. So I'm assuming a long period of time has happened in between. He tells Oisin he's there looking for his mother's people, or he accepts this answer from Oisin, more or less. Which Oisin's like, I don't think that's the full truth. He is remembering maybe who potentially is his mom based on his name. She had married a mortal and gone off to have a baby. After maybe, it doesn't really give us a timeline, but sometime together, Graves officially admits that he is there seeking the druids, which then Oisin introduces him to Lorcan. So now we found out that Oisin is the catalyst to Graves and Lorcan's first initiation. O'Sheen sees this as his biggest victory, as well as his deepest regret for not being there when everything blew up. So we talked kind of, we're teetering this line with O'Sheen on, he clearly has a history and relationship with both of them. He obviously leans more towards Lorcan's side. He's known him longer. He is from the same, I don't know that we find out what O'Sheen is, but he's more in the Druid world than Warlock side.
He's a human.
Okay.
But
I
when
know-
he went with Neve to Fairy, and then he came back, he hadn't aged.
Right.
He was gone for a long time, but when he came back, he aged suddenly to the age he is now. And now because he's stuck, he's kind of cursed to stay this old age for the rest of his life.
So back present day, O'Sheen gives Lorcan a call, and he is guessing that Graves is in fact there with Kierce, which O'Sheen confirms for him. He also tells him that they will be coming to New York soon, and ends the call with a statement, anything for the Wisps. So he is obviously, backstabbing Kierce.
Was the
To
only wisp
Lorcan.
left, but he's
Right.
doing this for the wisps.
Something I didn't catch before is that it's obvious he's been reporting on things to Lorcan.
Yeah.
It's like, he's saying thanks for all you've done in the meantime. I wonder what kind of manipulations have already been in place.
Yeah.
What if he's only feeding Kier's certain information and not all the truth, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think there's been some manipulation going on at the very least.
It's very duplicitous for it to be the very beginning of the book.
Yeah.
It will be interesting if Neve was aware or not. Knew Neve.
Right. So, but maybe he was reporting, maybe O'Sheen was reporting to Lorcan because Neve wasn't.
Yeah.
Because the backup plan.
Good point.
I don't like him.
Into part 2 now. We got some pretty
Yes.
flowers. I don't know what kinds, but pretty flowers.
Part 2, we jump right back where we left off last episode, and Kierce is coming out of her dream. Graves is worried, making sure that she is not hurt. And she comes out saying, "You helped my parents," which I have a couple of little jokes about this. And he explains that during that time, many people were coming to him to get help being hidden. She explains that her mom was in fact alive because up until this point, we had thought she died in childbirth, and that the Fae Killer was after them. Which this name sparks something in Graves. He clearly has heard of them before. It explains that he had searched for them for a long time, but after the last of the Wisps were killed, they disappeared, and they have not been heard of since.
And so it doesn't sound like anybody ever found out who the Fae Killer was.
Right. No.
What if it's Amber Dash?
Oh my God, that fucking guy. Oh.
That fucking guy. She also brings up Killian Ryan, who was a rogue druid we learned last episode, and tells him her parents' name, which are Shannon and Adair, which he recognizes this immediately. And he says he remembers them coming for help, and that he had actually sent Edgar to follow up on this, and he had reported that they had all died, including Kierce or this child. There is a question there if maybe Edgar had lied, which I had said was interesting to me, that Graves' initial response is not to protect him, but he is kind of questioning, I don't know, what he lied. Like,
He
so
didn't
kind
say
of
he would
taken
never lie to
aback.
me.
Right. He's so possibilities are endless at this point. Like, he was not expecting this information.
I will say though, based on when the interlude that we had from Edgar's perspective in the first book, there's no way that he would have lied. I don't see that.
Very loyal
I
to
didn't
Graves.
see that at all either, which is why I was surprised Graves wasn't like, he would never.
I trust him with everything.
Right.
Except poor Graves. Every time he trusts somebody so
Yeah.
explicitly,
Except for Edgar and Isolde, they're his like OGs.
I mean,
You would think, but he does, like, she says, like, he's, like, spinning his wheels. Like, is his world crashing down?
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
This all obviously explains why he never went looking for this child and why he didn't conclude that Kirsten and the child were one and the same, because this was so just out of his memory that they had died and that was the end of that story. He brings up that she thought, or Graves thought, the reason Kirsten had lasted was because of lack of magic. She's not displaying anything persistent in what he knows the wisps to contain.
I feel like he's referring to like when he first met her as well. Like not right now
Yes.
how he like measures her,
Um,
but when they first met, like why he wasn't like, oh, she's a wisp. That wasn't his initial
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, I think both for sure. He's going through that, and then she also starts listing off like, oh, because this, and this.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, no. And then they further explain again, because her father is currently known to be human, that when a wisp and a human have children, the magic kind of goes everywhere and it's unpredictable.
A little more diluted.
Right. And he's amazed that she's even capable of doing what she is, which is,
I feel like this doubt of her will come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, it's just interesting. And I think I made a comment and then we moved on because something else earlier, but how she's clearly going to be so powerful. Like all of these people are interested in her, the absorption, the only wisp, but then we're still, doubting her powers a little bit. So I am interested to see what happens. Like I'm kind of theorizing like she could be like this, like, oh, holy power, number one savior.
Which would make sense why people targeted and killed them, because people don't like somebody to be more powerful than them. These
Right.
monsters, the warlocks, they wouldn't want that.
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't think her dad is human.
He might not be.
Well, and
Yeah, we don't know that
that's
for sure.
the sticking point, right? But Graves met them in person, so how would Graves know that?
Well,
But
he didn't
anyways.
actually address Adair's humanity of any way
I thought
during
he
that
did.
interaction.
Later in my section, there's mention of something that can restore, like if somebody is a half blood. So I think that's probably going to come into play.
That's
So
a good
maybe
point.
she really is a half blood, but we haven't
forgot
gone to
about
this
that part.
conversation either. But her conversation with Lorcan about how powerful she is, he doesn't see the same thing as Graves sees.
No, yeah. Well, and Graves clearly doesn't have that much experience with them, is what I'm gathering as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because he would have avoided them because they could kill him.
Mhm. True. All right. So she is going through everything in her head. She's admitting that, Graves clearly was a good guy. He went out of his way to help her parents. Her dad had given him an unremarkable knife, and he gave in return, a large lead that would not be equivalent.
Time out. No, opposite. The knife was worth more than the name alone.
No,
So he said that, but he was lying.
The knife was
It was
not
fake
worth a
to us.
name and a druid amulet, is what Kier said. Like that's the reality of it. Like he said that he told
that
us.
she knows that though. I think that's like her assessment,
Maybe.
but she doesn't know the true, like, actual origin of that knife and
but
the
she
weight
wants
of
to-
the Fey
She
blessing.
wants to see that goodness in Graves, like that he would help them even if they didn't have the means to pay for it. Like,
Well, so I don't disagree with that. I think regardless as to whether the knife was invaluable and he gave all of that, or if he was just brutally honest, like the knife is worth more than just a name and here's an amulet to offset. Either way, I think
he's doing good.
he was doing the right thing.
Agreed.
She brings up Killian at this point, obviously, because that is the name they were given in for the knife. He says that he has not seen him since the war. At that point, Graves is like, we're gonna figure this out together. But she's like, oh, is it a we now? Like, you have the cauldron to look for. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, I have a team for that. And she is obviously excited herself about finding the cauldron, but also knows how important it is to him. So she makes this bargain that she will still help him with the cauldron. He's going to help her with her memories. So now she is open to that. So this is a little baby step, I would say. More that she just wants her memories back, and she clearly has exhausted all other avenues, and she has Graves standing right in front of her who can literally read her mind.
Yeah.
So she explains, obviously, she still does not trust him. She is very blunt about it, which I loved. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to have to prove it to you that it's the woman that I want, not the thief. And they share some comments back and forth. And then ultimately, Kier's is like, okay, I guess it's time to go back home. And they're going to go back to New York.
I do like his self-reflection, and I don't feel like you get that in like men in stories very often, that he's like, I know where I went wrong, like, and I want the opportunity to fix it. I want to prove it to you that I'm here for you. I don't know, this admitting that he has reflected on it and he knows what he did wrong and how to fix it. I'm interested to see where it goes.
I am too. It's almost like too good to be true. It's almost it's making me feel like
second guess it.
Yeah. All right, so they land in New York. It is hot, hot, hot. It is not supposed to be. Kier's and Graves share this little side eye that the weather is due to the fact that the solstice did not go as supposed to, and she took the hit instead of Graves, which is affecting the weather. So Neve has also come with them, and she will be staying in Brooklyn with the Druids. She is persistent on trying to convince Kiers not to stay with Graves, but of course she doesn't care what she has to say. So Graves introduces Jen and Kiers to Lazarus Cates, or Laz. He is Graves's treasure hunter. He has clearly already been told about Kier's in his greeting to her, which Kier's finds interesting, just that Graves would share her with somebody else. They share another little eyebrow.
Kind of bragging about her a little bit.
That he's trying to show her that it's not going to be the same this time, that he's trying to be more open and show her what she's looking for. Laz gives Graves a folder as Graves is kind of rummaging through. He is upset at his findings. We find out that there's going to be a midnight frolic, which is an elite gathering showcasing the talents of ballet, opera, whatever. And it's essentially gentlemen's club meets nightclub, so it's going to be rowdy. And they are using this as a cover for the auction. So they expect that this is going to be chaotic, and they immediately start planning their recon, exits, floor plans, etc., etc. Again, Kier's is just acknowledging that he's letting her into all this information. This is the first time she's in the room as he's gathering information. He's typically just bringing it to her when he's
Mysterious
finished.
before.
Yeah. So not only is it like a trust thing, but she's also like admiring him, I would say, and just like kind of his puppet mastery and just being in charge and kind of running the show. They get back to the brownstone, and Isolde gives Kier's a grand welcoming, thanking Graves for bringing their girl back. Edgar shows Laz to his rooms insistently, and Kier's is having a side conversation with Jen just about her staying there and her seeing Graves' house for the first time, and all the other options she also has to stay. she can see that Kyr's wants to go find Graves, so she distances herself to go find Edgar to find her rooms. So
What a good friend.
Kyr's, yeah.
Yeah. I can tell that you want to go talk to your boyfriend, so bye.
So Kyr's goes to Graves in the library where he is reading a message from a bouquet of flowers. And this message is from Kingston, almost a warning / threat on him not coming to see him while he was across the pond.
Rude.
And Kyr's is questioning this, like, is this a threat? Like, this is ominous. Graves is kind of like hinky about it a little bit, but explains that he doesn't think something this little he would truly challenge him over, but does allude to the fact that, someday, whether that's tomorrow or next month or whatever, that day will likely come when Kingston just does challenge Graves.
Yeah, I feel like this is not the first time he's upset him in this storyline.
Yeah.
What if
Right.
Kingston is now the leader of the Men of Valor?
What if Kingston is the Fae killer?
Interesting. We do
He's
know
a warlock
him
and he's powerful.
We do know him to
Damn,
act first, think leader.
that would be wild.
Yeah.
That would be wild.
I think he's going to be, I do feel like he's going to have a villainous story, just like his ties with
Mhm.
Imani and how he seemed more supportive of Imani seeking revenge and all that.
Yeah.
He's always had a very sinister air to him.
Yeah. Sneaky bastard.
Well, yeah, and then like all the conversations about the wars and stuff in the last book. His
Yeah,
morals are
okay.
not
And like kill
exactly
first,
there.
ask questions later.
Yeah, all that. Yep.
Good call.
That's
Thanks.
So
gonna be a
Kier
shitstorm.
still has the spear in her hand, which leads Graves to acknowledge this and give her access to his vault to keep it safe. He's doing this not only because he knows that she could easily get into it at this point if she wanted to, but to offer trust and that she has full access to everything of himself included.
Yeah. And I mentioned again that I think that if he truly is like his number one priority is getting all of these artifacts and joining them for his mysterious reason because of the power, that this could be a conflict between him and Kier's that further pushes them apart. If he does try to take it, because he has access to it too.
Yeah.
I just don't see that though, because also if he plays his cards right with Kier's, he'll
They
have
have
no
that.
need.
Yeah, they can join them together.
Yeah, like, so if he does do that, he's just a moron.
Fair.
Very true.
Fair.
All right, chapter 23. Kyr's is waking up from day number 2 with no nightmare. So she's contemplating why this has happened, if it's because she has unlocked this memory, or if it's because now she kind of has a plan in place on how she's going to get her memories back, aka get rid of this nightmare. But ultimately, she doesn't care. She's just happy to have 2 sleeps without one
Yeah.
because she's been waking
It's
up
been
screaming
months,
for
right?
months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes downstairs. She is seeing, a big breakfast spread, as is telling his embellished stories to Jen. And also lets Kierce know that Graves is in this library working on business. So Kierce decides she's going to go talk to him and let him know their plans for the day, but also, what this business he's looking into is. We have a little scene with Anne the cat, who we all love and still think
Me
she's
too.
a human.
So sassy.
She kind of hisses or paws at Kierce, and Graves is like, calls her out. And he's like, you've been sulking for the last several months, and now she's back and you're acting like this. So it's cute. Graves explains that he's doing research on the company which is hosting the auction. He's never heard of them. He's really not finding much, except for the fact that they started during the war.
So, in light of our new revelation of Kingston's sinister leanings, what if Kingston is the one that is the owner of the auction? Because
The curator?
Yeah, because all of a sudden,
Art is his thing, first of all.
yeah, and we know the queen and the game master were in cahoots,
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that gave him the invite.
Mhm.
And so,
They're all on the same side of the pond.
and what's her face was like, yeah, the auctioneer or whatever will take care of
Yeah.
Mhm.
them. And now all of a sudden we get roses from Kingston.
Yep,
That's a good
that's a
point.
good thought.
And we think Anne Boleyn, we didn't bring this up again, but we think Anne Boleyn is possibly Lorcan's little sister that Graves supposedly killed.
Yes, that is a big
Yes.
theory
Because
that I
we're
would
not
love to
convinced he
come
killed
true.
her.
We're not convinced he killed her. We think that's part of like that falling out.
Yeah.
Like forced what's his name? Asheen to side with Lorcan a little bit more.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I predict that Kingston is going to be the evil throughout this whole book,
Okay.
regardless as to if he is the evil.
I can get behind that theory.
It's now going to be who we think all the time.
So let's see. Graves also lets Kierce know that he has already talked to Edgar about him checking on her parents and herself as a child. Edgar was very forthcoming. He immediately showed Graves his memory. And Graves confirms there was a child there, whether that was a planted body or an illusion. They don't know, but there was definitely some foul play.
And Edgar doesn't seem like there was Edgar doesn't seem like he wasn't forthright or forthcoming
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I always use that wrong word.
He also explains to Kierce that he's reached out to Dr. Mafi to exhaust every avenue of her memory, thinking it could be non-magical with
Brain
all
damage.
of her trauma. Yes, both physical and mental. And Kierce is kind of like using this as, again, more trust building, that he's really turning over all the stones, that, they did not end on good terms, and he's willing to reach out to Dr. Mafi and really explore every option that would give Kierce the answers that she's looking for.
It is reassuring.
And himself, of course, because he is knowledge and he does not like to not know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he does turn out to be evil, there's that side of it. So then she basically just lets him know that they are leaving. Her and Jen are going to go see Colette and Ethan. Obviously, this means she's also going to see Lorcan, which she confirms to him. And he gets a bit possessive and jealous. He pins her up against this desk, gives her a big, deep kiss. It's like, yeah, I didn't want you to forget about that. And
He rubbed her
sends her
scent
on
all
her
over
way.
her.
Mm-hmm.
Smell that, Lorcan?
Yeah.
So nice.
But Kierce is not upset about it.
She's into it.
To say
No,
the
no.
least.
Yeah,
She's
she has
like,
not once complained about his physical attention.
yeah, she's like, damn you.
I can't say I'd be any different.
Those
Yeah.
fingers.
Oh my gosh. Hannah, remind me later to tell you this story about Christy and these fingers.
That's like
Oh
your
my
job.
gosh. We're going to have to get her a finger sweatshirt.
Remember when I accidentally did this at your birthday?
Yes, I will never forget.
Oh, no, I
And there's
missed it.
photo evidence of it.
I have it on video somewhere. All right, chapter 24. Kierce and Jen are taking the subway. Jen is not a frequent subwayer. She is a bit on the fragile side, I would say. So she is weary and apprehensive of the whole thing and all the monsters that they're running into and the trolls and
She's
such.
losing her sight too, so
Yeah.
that's an added stressor.
Mm-hmm. They're kind of explaining to us that, times are changing, theaters are open, Times Square is not as rough as it was in just, 6 months ago. That, tourists are starting to come back out, the streets are bustling like it was before the war. Tora gets brought up briefly, and I bring up just in case she does come back, because we are a little uncertain with the ending and exit of her character from the last book.
It was not smooth.
It was not
Like
smooth.
she was made to, from the beginning of the book, she was made to be so important. Like Kierce felt so guilty about her and was really, really determined to get her out of there. And then just poof, she just walked away and left the city apparently.
And no phone call, follow up, hey, I'm good from either side. So We'll see if this is a writing thing or part of the story, but Jen is under the impression that she probably just left the city as soon as she got out of the underworld or the market.
Same. Same.
Yeah.
So they finally make it to the brothel and meet up with Colette, who greets them warmly for her. She's obviously always joking with Kears on her affection for her. And they let her know that they're staying with Graves, and Jen kind of comments and confirms that they both want each other. So it's not one sided. Jen is giving the full download to Colette on their trip to Dublin, and Corey comes in and immediately is asking about Ethan and if they're going to go see him. We know he hasn't seen him in 5 months, and they are assumed to be broken up, although there hasn't been an actual conversation. It's just been no contact. So Corey is having a lot of unresolved feelings, obviously, and is eager to get in a room with Ethan to have a chat. Kears finally lets Jen know that she plans to go alone, that she is not sure that it's going to be safe, having to go to the Druid territory, but also just considering the last time they were all together, he was trying to kill them. Basically, because Lorcan is obsessed with Kears, they think that it's not going to be any problem, but also if there are problems, Kears is clearly equipped to get out of them. And then Colette's just kind of joking about her wiles. And
She needs to use it. Use what you
Yeah.
got to get what you need.
exactly. And that was that.
Yeah, we talked briefly about how it's frustrating that Kears protects people so harshly because she would not accept that kind of protection, like not allowing Jen to go to see
Mhm.
Ethan, and she clearly wanted to. Like she was upset about it, frustrated, but like thinking she knows what's best for her. That's
Mhm.
probably part of the reason like she wasn't ever like more aware of her powers. Like all these things that she closed off about herself. Like, Kears was a part of that. Something I didn't think of earlier too is like Colette asked Jen if she's going to come back and work for her, and they mentioned it as a steady stream of income. So Colette lost that steady stream of income plus the rent that the three of them were paying her. So I'm wondering if she's going to end up being salty about that, and it's going to come to play because she doesn't seem like the nicest lady. She just, puts up with.
Her response to that seemed amicable, at least.
Yeah,
which-
I was expecting it kind of, but
yeah, like off
business
to
must
bigger
be
and
good.
better things.
Yeah.
She
can
can
tell
pick
if it
up
was
an extra hooker.
There you go.
All right, so Kears leaves to go to Druid territory. She shoots Neve a text ahead of time just to let her know she's on her way and for them to have like a meetup point. As she does this, she is met with a gun pointed to her back by none other than Declan,
This fucking guy.
Lorcan's number 2. So
Such a
we were
twerp.
talking. Yeah, he was.
Like-
he always seems to be very salty in every interaction that we've received from him so far. Yeah,
How do
I
we
don't know
use
if
the
we
term
need to.
twerp more?
I don't know.
Like that is the
It
perfect.
sounds too much like twerk these days,
Like it's just like it fits him so well. Like it's demeaning
And
to call him like a grown adult a twerp.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
Mhm.
But if we remember correctly, he just has this against Kears. She made him look like an idiot because he couldn't catch her.
Yeah.
And
Well-
nobody knew she had magic or anything.
he should be
Mhm.
aware of his betters.
So she
Clearly.
made him look bad. So he has a bone to pick with her.
Yeah.
Vendetta.
So at gunpoint, he makes her go inside, and Kears is taunting him basically that he's making a mistake. Orkin's not going to be happy. And specifically that Neve could run circles around him, which definitely we see gets under his skin.
Mm-hmm.
So he leads her to this elevator, and none other than Neve steps out as if she was waiting for them there. So she's very much like, unhand our guest. She's not an intruder. We are friends, which takes Declan aback a little bit. He clearly does not like her. He's making under the breath comments And Neve ends up challenging him, which he backs away from, knowing that she would take him. So Neve then takes over and says that she's going to take her to see Lorcan, who has been dying to see her. So then we're in Lorcan's office, and he lights up at the sight of her, of his, he calls her his little songbird.
Blech.
Yeah. He says, "What a pleasant surprise." And Neve immediately calls him out for this and is like, "You knew she was coming. Like, don't try to pretend for anybody." And this banter kind of goes back and forth between them through the whole thing, which I really appreciate. Really holding Lorcan to the fire, which he probably does not receive ever.
No, everybody kisses his ass all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Including
And
his second, the twerk.
right. And since Neve was a little deceptive in the beginning, this kind of resets that compass for me about this interaction here.
It reassures you that like she wasn't joking. She doesn't answer to him. Like
Yeah.
she's gonna do her own thing.
So Kiers obviously has not forgiven Lorcan, which he acknowledges. And again, Neve is pushing Lorcan about all these past issues. Like, yeah, you're the problem. You said you would leave her alone, that you kidnapped her, you held her friends at gunpoint. Like, stop acting like you haven't done anything to her. She brings up the fact.
I'm sorry. Like Kier's in this is having really like mixed feelings about Lorcan and leaning towards this like magnetism of his that makes you kind of question like how does she actually feel about him? So I am worried about that.
I agree. Even in the first book, like anytime she's interacting with Lorcan, she'll make the comments about how beautiful he is or charismatic, or even though she didn't want to laugh, she's laughing. So there's definitely something there, and it's worrisome.
She says she hadn't been able to completely pull away from the vortex he'd swirled her into. I'm like, get out of there.
Get out of there.
Run
Get out of the vortex.
So like
climb out.
I know that that's what the author is wanting us to think, but I don't see how that happens and she ever comes back with it with Graves.
Yeah.
And so then it would completely erode the need for a third book.
No, I would actually throw the book across the room.
I don't know that I could finish it, honest to God. Like
so it better not.
No, I agree.
It's so gross. Just like he's such a creep.
So
Sorry, Anna derailed you.
Nope, no problem. Pierce is showing her friendliness towards Neve, which Lorcan has mixed feelings about. He seems a little disgruntled by this pair. We talked about that a little bit earlier, where Neve is a little bit of pain in his side, I think. It's technically over, but then she technically is a high priestess. So I think there's a little bit maybe competition there.
He can't control her as much as he wants to be able to.
Which she clearly struggles with.
Yeah.
So he is like, happy that my girls are getting along, and basically dismisses Neve. And as she's leaving, she reminds him to go take her to see Ethan. You know that's why she's here. If you don't do it, you know she's going to find a way to do it anyway. So just get it over with. So that's what Lorcan does.
So 2 things. One, I don't, something is really off about, she brought up to bring into the description of the robin fluttering in a cage next to his desk in both books, that like there's something weird about that.
That he cages a robin.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but there's something weird about that.
Bad symbolism.
Yeah.
And negative symbolism.
Or maybe it like brings him power.
Sure.
I don't know. But I feel like she's foreshadowing something, but I can't figure out what yet. But also, I do think that Neve is outside of his hierarchy, which I know we tried to talk about the first time we recorded this unsuccessfully. But like considering the title of the actual book. Like, it's clear that she's taking dominance.
That's true. We didn't even consider the Robin on the Oak Throne.
Yeah. Like, if she's truly the Robin, because she's also a high priestess. So who's to say that she's not even more powerful than the Oak King outside of that? Like, she's the Robin by happenstance.
Yeah.
Or he turned the real Robin into a Robin and she's playing a part. I don't know.
There's more to it.
But I do think that maybe this high priestess, while Lorcan plays a role of fighting the Holly King every winter, like, I feel like the true
Winner.
power or the true dominant personality is actually going to be Neve, not Lorcan. Like, she's
Well, it's
especially
similar to Kyr's,
right. She does have the upper hand.
because she's going to be more powerful than Graves.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it until you were talking about this, and I was kind of rereading it. But she, when she's talking to the twerp, she's like, I've been gone too long, and this place has gone to hell.
Yeah.
Like, only someone higher than the person in charge of this whole kit and caboodle is going to actually say something like that.
The audacity.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And like be such a presence that would make such a change in their
Keep
atmosphere.
people in line, keep it a pot.
Yeah.
It's just a better place to be.
Yeah. Like, I think Lorcan may see them as possibly equals, and she may outwardly portray that they're to some degree equals, but I don't think that's true.
No, yeah, we talked about that last episode too, just because like she's not reporting it to him.
Yeah.
So that tells us alone that she's not indebted to him in any way.
Yeah.
26 or
I'll save it.
something.
You save it. Oh,
Okay, 26. Lorcan takes her to see Ethan. They walk in on this training fight because they're, down into the Druid training camp. She doesn't recognize Ethan at first because he's put on a lot of muscle. He's a lot wider and more stout. When she does realize it's Ethan, she screams his name, which distracts him, and he ends up on his ass. But then gets up and runs over to her in a greeting, as he wasn't expecting her either. He does immediately honor that Lorcan is there. He's like, "Oh, so sorry. Let me bow to my master." And then the first thing out of his mouth when him and Kirst are alone is like, "Did he fill you in? Am I even allowed to talk to you about this?" So the brainwashing is well into effect. And it's almost already erased their friendship and trust and connection.
He is well enmeshed in the cult.
She does mention, she could still feel the thread of the Triskel even when she was in Dublin. So that's still there within her. He immediately asks about Corey, which she clarifies, no, we did not break up. It was just a break. I'm, obviously on isolation, but that's over in a month. And
which we didn't even tell Corey about.
Leave without saying anything. No, we're not broken up.
Yeah.
That's hopeful.
Very hopeful.
Corey should dump his ass at the very least.
I hope he does. Obviously, this is not the same guy he went in to be.
No.
So
No.
I foresee that being an issue in their relationship.
Absolutely.
I hope it is.
Yeah. So again, it's, Druids aren't your enemy. We were wrong. They are the good guys here. Kirst is playing devil's advocate. Okay, what about last winter? You literally were kidnapped. You saw everything that happened.
She tries to tease him too, and he is not having it. He's dead serious about his feelings on that the Druids are not bad in their walk.
He has drank the Kool-Aid.
He swam in the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they bring up Graves and that she's working with him again, which he's immediately upset by, saying, he's learned all these things about him, that he's a monster. Kier's is offended by this remark as well and kind of snips back at him like, oh, does that mean you can't trust me then? And he's essentially like, yeah, maybe it does. And he walks away. They share some like snide comments, and that is the end of the scene.
She tells him, "You do not want to be my enemy."
Hmm.
And he's just like, "Okay, bye."
Yeah, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to be a
Let's get
little
back
good
to
little
my-
Because he
soldier.
grabbed her.
That train. Oh yeah, he was holding her by the arm whenever
Yeah.
he was so angry about Graves,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and she's like, "Oh."
She had to like jerk her arm back, and that's when she was like, "You do not want to be my enemy."
No.
Honestly, why didn't she deck him?
Yeah, she could have. Well, she's not really a puncher, remember? She's fast. But she's
Well, she
stronger now.
karate chopped his throat.
She could have.
Like,
Yeah.
damn. Like, who the fuck are you? How
He's-
dare you put your hands on me?
He's a druid.
Ugh, I hate zealots.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to learn more about, but definitely sad that, yeah, I mean, we were upset he chose to leave in the first place, and now it's just really going downhill.
Yeah, it is.
Which we all kind of saw this coming, but like to see it in
Yeah.
print,
It's hard.
it's
Yeah.
like, ugh.
All right, chapter 27.
Yes.
Okie dokie. So in chapter 27, Lorcan reassures Kyr's that Ethan may not truly be lost, trying to help her get through this. Like he's in the thick of it right now. They talk about her mother. He does share that he knew of her mother, but never met her. She died very young for a wisp, at only 50 years old, and it was unusually young to have a child. So she did not live anywhere near the length of a life she should have had. Lorcan also revealed he had a wife that was a wisp, as well as 2 sons. So he had strong ties to them, and he obviously, they speak about. I don't know if we touched base on it, but when in the memory, they did not want to go to Lorcan.
Yeah.
The memory she saw when they were with Graves. And he is countering that. Like, I absolutely would have helped them. I love the Wisps and would have done anything I could to protect them. And so where I brought up that Graves thinks she's only half a Wisp and doesn't see how powerful she is. Lorcan, on the other hand, really doubts that she's only half because he thinks her powers are too strong and that she likely could not be a third of a Triskel if it was the case that she was only half.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of just proves our point that maybe Graves just wasn't as close to the powers of a Wisp to really recognize them because of he distanced them because of the
Hannah,
danger.
is she defending him now?
I don't hate him. I just was mad at him. Okay. Anyways, they go back to
Forgiveness.
Killian. So she brings up Killian and that he was the one that was supposed to, that supposedly helps their parents. And he told her that he knew of Killian. So he explains about him. I don't remember the name of the tree, but essentially Sansara. So he destroyed this sacred tree, Sansara, and drained all of its power, harnessed that power to protect and hide himself and Kyr's. So we think that's where the power for that spell came from and why it's taking a toll on Kyr's, getting it to wear off. But he is believed to have died in the war. And then lastly, Lorcan offers Kyr's and Jen a place with the Druids and invites her to share the Oak Throne with him. Like, very bluntly, like, this can be yours too. We can share it, which that doesn't fit into the histories, whatever. And he does give the offer that, like, I'll still train you guys. And, Jen and her high priestess, because she has Neve there, obviously the druid training, and then Lorcan's experience with Wisp. He's offering to train them because he was once a third of a Triskel, and it was the last known Triskel. So more ties to them.
Yeah.
That was what if Neve is the high priestess in the Triskel? His wife would have been the Wisp. He would have been the druid.
Fair.
And that's why he can't, like, really go against her.
As well as in that power.
Yeah. While the wife maybe gone in the Triskel may not be what it was, like, how can you truly go against, although Ethan has given me a good idea of how you can. But
break the Triskel, like, does somebody have to die to break the Triskel? Or is it like a conscious decision you can make? We don't know. We don't know enough about Triskels. Not to be confused with Triscuits.
I find it interesting how Like, even the first book, but now it's, like, on opposite ends. Lorcan and Graves are still, like, saying the same things. Like,
Yeah.
you can have access to me. I will give you everything. Like, it's, like, verbatim out of both of them.
Yeah. They're both confident and
Mhm.
want to control.
Well, even just, like, in general, like, the whole night market, like, they're both telling her the same information.
Yeah. It shows how much history they shared too.
Yeah.
Like that they have the same
Mhm.
like the same thoughts, the same
Yeah.
like approaches to things, the same knowledge.
Mhm.
Well, could you imagine? So, a few things have to be in play for this to work. Graves would have to buck up and not be so possessive. And I almost called her Lyra. And Kierce would have to learn to be slightly more duplicitous when it comes to her friends. But if she played both sides, like she was really on Graves' side, but she took Lorcan up on this offer and like got all of this extra training and learning about the wisps, about Triskells, about all of that, and was still getting all of the information from Graves' side. Like, could
But I
you
think
imagine?
Graves would let her. Like he
I
doesn't
do
seem like he's
too.
trying to control her. I think he would let her go train with him. Just like want her to be safe and continue to mark his territory.
I would agree, but that's only going to make Lorcan double down what she
That's
has.
true.
But I'm just saying, could you imagine?
28, I don't have a lot on it. I don't know why it seems like a long chapter, but in 28, Kierce is back at the house and she finds Graves in the Holly Library. She tells him about meeting Lorcan and how Ethan reacted to her being there. And that brings Graves into talking a little bit more about his history and that he knows about the druid training because he went through it when he was younger. He never was fully accepted into it because of, I think it's mostly because his dad was not a druid. His dad was a human or something. His dad was immortal or something different, right?
Mhm.
So, like, his mother was not really accepted. So, he was never really accepted into it. But he does know what it looks like. Warns Kierce that Lorcan wants her in every way. And he's, I put this in very calmed, I don't know, plain terms, but not like obvious, but he's going to try to convince her to stay with him instead, promising her the world and all the stars. So that was very sweet. And so he plants her on the desk and goes down on her. She does see the stars.
She does. She does
Like he promised he's gonna make her see all the stars, and I think she saw all the stars.
He did fulfill.
And then like when they finish, she's like, getting her pants on, and Jen comes into the library. I mean, I think this is where it works in their favor that she can't see very well because she received
Right.
that. But yeah, sassy little Graves, he didn't use his noise distortion to keep her from hearing them. So she came up because she heard a noise in the library.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, there was more detail in there, but that was the gist of that chapter.
Yeah. You got everything I highlighted.
So I think, did we talk about that Lorcan thinks that Killian is dead?
Yes, that was in
Mhm.
the previous chapter.
So I think it's probably helpful to know. I feel like it's going to come up later when I'm sure Killian's not dead and we do eventually find him. But when she tells Graves that Killian actually destroyed the Sansara, he's like, holy shit.
Yeah, he did have a strong reaction
Yeah.
to that with his history
Yeah.
with the druids.
Yeah. And he said, no wonder the spell lasted so long on you if it was fueled by Sansara.
Which
He
is
recognized
exactly
his
what
power.
Lorcan said.
Yeah. He's like, I knew it was pathological, but not that bad.
Yep, so they have the same opinions about this dude.
Mhm.
But Graves didn't think he didn't have any idea he was dead. He promised her they would look for him.
Yeah. I'm not convinced he is. I
Me
think
neither.
Lorcan's just a fool.
Or Lorcan
Manipulative.
has him captured somewhere.
I know, right? He's the Robin. Just kidding.
How wild.
He got that last bit of Sansara trapped in the cage. But yeah, chapter 29. In 29, Chris and Jen agree, like, they're glad that Jen didn't go with Kierce to Lorcan's because they're worried he wants to collect them because he talked about the Triskel and that he already has Ethan. Back in the library, Graves helps Kier's try to recover her memories and control her powers. So they walk through this. They have a really nice setup, a nice chase lounge, and some snackies. And he's trying to get her to feel the activity basically of her powers. And if she's absorbing her powers on, so she needs to find that place where she can turn the well of it off so that she can allow his magic through. So this is the practice that they're trying to test. And at first, the first thing that happens is Kier's can sense his power, and she gets a little too close, and she touches his power, and he was very polite about it, but found it very invasive. Apparently, like that's a big no-no, and that is actually how the wisps kill the warlocks. They reach into their well and they drain every bit of their powers. So that gives her this, like, she now fully has this power over him. He is giving his everything to her in this moment by trusting her with this information. And then they get back into the memory retrieval. They try quite a few times because Kyrus has to really focus on what she's wanting to remember. And it's easy to get like distracted and jump into a different memory. But when she does focus on hiding in the floor and sees that full memory she's trying to retrieve, there is a woman named Maureen who was a council member of the Wisp Council. She comes to Kyrst's parents' house and is trying to take Kyrst to protect her, is what she says. I have originally thought she was going to be like a bad guy, like the fake killer or something like that.
Me too.
But she did seem like she had their best interest in mind, but her parents were not having it. Like, they're going to protect her above all else. Her mother ended up killing Maureen, which is the noises that Kyrst remembered hearing in her nightmare. And Graves very kindly noted that he can see how much Kyrst's parents really loved her. They've, once they are able to get that whole thing digested, they've done their dues for the night, and now they're going to go on another field trip, not road trip. They're not going far. That's what I got for 29.
So the only thing I wanted to add is, because there's only one sentence about it, but I find it rather odd, is that when she is looking at all of his magic and
Yes.
it says, except something was missing.
Yeah.
She didn't know how. She knew. Only that there was a piece of that overwhelming abundance that felt injured.
Like somebody had cut a piece out of it and it never grew back, which felt impossible. All magic could be rechargeable. What is it? Did we ever? Because we never really discovered what truly broke Graves.
No.
We still don't know. But what if he Horcruxed himself?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't seem, I don't know.
It doesn't feel like
how
he did
she's
it to him.
explaining it. Yeah, it seems more like it was done to him. Or
what if somebody's holding a piece of his magic?
Or like, the battle with Lorcan. Like, I feel like it's something that could have happened then when it didn't pan out and Kyrst was.
Yeah. I was thinking
Kyrst
something with
absorbed all of
Lorcan.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe that took a piece away from him because it wasn't like he did not fulfill his duty.
Oh, maybe it's like like a piece of magic that goes between the two. Like,
yeah,
it was Anne.
The fluid.
Amberlynn. It's Amberlynn. Maybe.
That would be hilarious.
Oh my God, Amberlynn.
I was just gonna add like Maureen. Because you said that she seemed like she had her best interest. I disagree.
Okay.
She felt very sinister to me.
She says, she's like, Maureen, it's our life. She says, I just had it. Even I would know you wouldn't send your precious daughter away. The woman laughed high in disbelieving. And then right before she kills her, Shannon says, the fake killer's out there. You should come back with us. Shannon says, it's all of us or none of us.
Yeah.
And she says, I'm afraid that's the wrong answer.
It's this again, it seems like it was because her father was human.
Right.
That they don't want to take the whole family. And so Maureen, it seems like not malicious to me, but she has the best she has the best for the wisps in mind, not for Kier's, not for her mother and her father, but she wants to protect the wisps. Because she does genuinely see, like, we can keep her safe. She just, will not bend to allowing
Yeah.
I
Darren.
think they're trying to take Kier's.
Well, yeah, they're obviously trying to just take
Just her. Oh, I thought you were saying Shannon.
No, because no, I was saying like, that
Well, they are trying.
that's a conversation though. Like Maureen wants to take Kier's because she says she wants to keep her safe to protect the wisps. She doesn't seem to care about Shannon as much, but she will she will not let the dad in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see like she seems like not a bad guy, but like not a caring person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see where you're going. I see like where you're coming from
Yeah.
on that for sure.
All right, 30.
He did say road trip, not field trip. Chapter 30, I also don't have a lot, but it is a bit of a shorter chapter. Pierce and Graves' road trip was to go visit Mafi at the Covenant. They kind of detail what's been happening.
Oh, almost sneezed. Sorry. Woo, keep going.
So in chapter 30, Pierce and Graves' road trip is to go visit Mafi at the Covenant. They explain a little bit more about what's been going on, and they talk a little bit about what transpired. And, now that King Louis' dead, Mafi's debt is cleared, so she kind of owes Graves one for that. But she does agree to run scans on Kierce's brain to get a better picture of why she might have lost her memories, looking to see if it is like a traumatic brain injury or something like that. But after they sit and wait for the results, they all come back negative. There's no like sign of physical damage to her brain at all. And so Mafi starts looking more at the like trauma, PTSD, and like Kier's more so suppressing the memories because of those things rather than there being any kind of injury or even a magic block. And so she recommends she first says therapy, but then she goes and says there's this psychiatrist I would recommend for you, but when they get back from their trip to Peru or something. And Kier's is obviously a little wary about it, but Graves supports her. Says he just wants what's best for her. So she does seem like she's going to give it a try and see if it'll help her break through some of the things she's suppressed.
The only thing I want to say is when he's like, you're going to keep your feelings to yourself this time, right? She's like, I'm a professional, which is what she said last time.
Yeah, and Kier's kicking her out too.
And he's like, yeah, you were last time too.
Yeah. She's like, you can go to the lobby if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that was
like
it.
you don't need to be here, do you?
Mm-hmm.
And she also says that common responses to trauma can be like changes in your brain, how it responds to stimuli. She specifically points out that it can shape who you are in other ways, like hyper independence.
Mm-hmm.
She's like not
Well, she gives this
but
list.
not hitting it on the nose or
Yeah.
something like that. That's Kier's.
She goes down this list of like big reasons as to what could cause like PTSD and like, the political unrest and all this stuff. And then like she was basically describing every millennial out there, like all the
things we've
gone through, and now we're all like anxiety ridden and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I was like, oh, so
she even
she's
mentions that like working with Graves is part of the trauma too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She really doesn't
I'm sure
stop
he
like
loves.
that.
No,
Like she is bitter.
she does not pretend. I like that about her at least. She's not like fluffing him up secretly. Hannah, do you have anything to add to 30?
No.
Okie dokie. Well, in 31, Kierce is doing her mental fortification homework. And she is doing it for so long that she gives herself a pretty bad headache, which gives her the sign like, I need to stop. She decides to make the trek to go visit Nate. She notes how beautiful everything's looking, like it's looking more pre-war. One of her favorite places, Chelsea Park, is in that walk, and she's used to seeing drug dealers and everything, but now it's like happy. There's a farmer's market, there's kids playing, flowers blooming, everything. And she says she hates it and loves it. I think it ties into this. Her and Nate have a similar conversation that it seems like the calm before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she gets to Nate, she tells him about everything that happened while they were gone in Ireland. And she did confirm with him, because he had heard the rumor from Colette, that she and Jen are both living with Graves. And he wasn't as like negative about it as everybody else, I think. He actually was pretty proud of her for giving him any kind of chance. He's like, that's not like you to let anybody have another chance to hurt you. And he actually encouraged her to give him a real chance if she wants to trust him again. So basically, lay your heart in his hands and see what he does with it. And that's the only way you're going to know. You have to drop the walls.
Yeah.
Probably the first person that's given her that advice. Like, Jen is supportive and like, I just want you to be happy or whatever. But, it's hard to tell somebody you care about to give somebody another chance. They're talking more about like how things were when Tears and Jen were gone, and they've been really quiet since King Louis's death. And so again, Nate's talking about how it seems like it's the calm before the storm. It's too good to be true. And all of the monsters that were part of that like revolution have gone more underground. So that indicates to me that they're probably planning some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're down there just, boiling up some plans. They they then go into Ethan, and honestly, they keep it light because it's a shitty situation. And he said something funny about it. Let me see. Fuck everyone else being reasonable. We have chains down below the club. We could chain him up and run a deprogramming.
Yeah.
She asked, like, well, do you want to just go kidnap him? And she's like, he'd hate us. He goes, this is a druid. They're the bad guys. But so that laugh helped her kind of move along. And then we got into some good news / bad news. Because Maura shows up and she is like flashing some bling around. So Kierst is incredibly excited for them that they're engaged. And not long after that, the wedding. Here's a wedding invitation. So it's happening in a few weeks. Things, thank God they came back when they did, because they would have just missed all of this. It was a close call. But something that is kind of a hitch in their plans moving forward together is, very sadly, Maura admits that she was seduced by an incubus when she was younger. And I didn't and don't know that much about incubi. But when they seduce you, it is, they take something from you in so much of a sense. They feed on your sexual energy. So she ended up cursed from it, and she's barren. So they said that they've like held off on getting engaged and getting married because she felt guilty that she couldn't give Nate a family.
Yeah.
And that led them to ask Kierst, which is a difficult question to ask somebody, if Graves might be able to help find a cure. And Kierst, being who she is, promises that she's going to try. She doesn't promise that Graves will do it, but she promises she's going to try. And she wants to, like, more than anything, try to help them. They're about to have an engagement party too, so that's about to go down.
And I can't remember if it's in this one or maybe when she talks to Graves, but it's neither here nor there. I think so. Like it talks about at some point that the incubus curse is that once they enthrall you or whatever, the only way to have a child is with the incubus.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like, nobody survives it. So the fact that she's even alive is like a testament to her.
I think that's more in Graves's, but Maura basically got into the situation, she says, because she didn't know a lot about monsters then, and she was just rebelling against her parents. Yeah. She thought she was falling in love, so this incubus kind of like tricked her into it.
Yeah.
And now she knows that once that happens, they put a curse on you.
Well, and the incubus and succubus work as a team. So, like, where did that come in?
I don't know a lot about them, but yeah.
Where was the lady half of this? Like, I wonder what the team aspect of that was, but that's just me being nosy.
Oh, it does say it, I think. Yeah. So an incubus and succubus worked in a pair to drain energy through sex. Once they drained you, the only children you could have were theirs if you survived. Most didn't. They were monsters for a reason. So it was there. I just didn't go for it.
I couldn't find it. I was even
Yeah.
trying to.
So thank God she didn't have an incubus baby.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to carry that around with you and know that that's your fate of your child?
Ugh.
Oh, anyways, anything else there?
I just enjoy Kirsten and Nate's relationship.
Me too. It's really
So-
lighthearted.
Yeah, and like he clearly is like there for her, and they have like a really deep connection. It seems like some of the things I highlighted. He's like asking her about Graves, and she's trying to shrug it off, and he says, "Not with me. You can't lie about him with
Yeah.
me." And so she opens up, like, "Fine, yes, I want to trust him again," which we don't even see her really do that with Jen.
Yeah.
And he's like-
She's constantly trying to protect Jen. I think she doesn't want to put any of her worries or
Mhm.
stressors on Jen.
Yeah.
It was just offensive.
He's like, "I'm still here if you need a good double cross."
He was hoping she was coming at him with some antics.
We all
Yeah.
needed Nate in our lives.
And then she says he reminded her that he always had her back, which was exactly what she needed.
Yeah.
Nate was her
I
family.
enjoy it too. I enjoy their relationship.
Yeah.
And that they would do anything for each other. Yeah. It was a good chapter. Okay, 32 then?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Kirst is back at the brownstone, and as soon as she gets in there, she walks in on breakfast, and Laz learning that Schwartz is in town. And I don't think we had heard about Schwartz yet before this, because I think we would have mentioned it, but him being back in town means they can move forward with their plan concerning the cauldron. And the same kind of situation, the same setting, Kirst shares with Jen that Maura's getting married. That Maura and Nate are getting married. She did not, though, share the situation with the incubus and the babies. And she's like, "That's not my secret to tell." They asked me to talk to Graves about it, but like, I'm not gonna bring it up right now, which I thought was really respectful. Great. Kirst goes off and finds Graves again. I feel like she does that a lot. She's gonna go find Graves. But they talk about the cure for Maura's incubus curse. He has never heard of a cure for it.
Yeah.
So he's very straightforward with her about it. But this almighty cauldron might be something that can help. So if they could obtain it, it's something that through its magic could possibly be a cure. And Schwartz comes in. He is a merman that works in security. He helped design the system that's protecting the cauldron in this exhibit and the transportation of everything. Then that's why, and they go into what the cauldron is a little bit more. I think Jen asked about it, like what the artifacts are, because she hasn't been brought into this. They explain that in the Four, it was created to feed armies and heal the injured. It's said to grant magic, restore magic, or even turn half-bloods into pure bloods. And currently the curator is who owns it. And they cannot get like any information on this person. They've tried a lot. And especially having Schwartz as an inside man, not being able to get any information on him is very secretive. And this is where I pointed out earlier about turning half-bloods into pure bloods.
Yeah.
So I can see like if they are able to obtain this, that would be something Kirst would have to battle with. She said in this chapter, I don't know, like I'm just getting used to being, half a whiz. I don't know that I could take on, like that's all I am, lose her humanity with it. She seems worried about it. So from there, they start to go through the details of planning the heist. And actually, I was pretty confused through this whole situation. So maybe you guys can provide me some clarity, like when you go through it. But it seems like their plan is to steal it, but like be obvious about it. I wasn't quite understanding like what their approach is here, because how they explain it. Let me get to it. They're going to use the opportunity. So if we're not going to buy it, we're not going to steal it. How are we going to get it? And then Graves said, we're going to steal it. And so it's more complicated, right? Like how they plan to get the cauldron. So they're going to use the opportunity against them. They need more information on the owner of the business and where the cauldron's being taken, when it's being transported, and so they can do a proper heist. So it seems like this whole situation is more so a setup, like a stakeout. Even though they do get more involved.
Like they're not their plan isn't necessarily to steal it
right now.
right this second.
Yeah.
And if you
on
can buy it,
situation,
cool.
Yeah.
But like,
they don't think that that's going to be a thing.
yeah.
That's all I got for 32.
Couple letters. Bringing up Anne again. Jen met her when they were kidnapped the first time, and Anne was drawn to Jen. And then we see that again here, and both Pierce and Graves are like shocked. Like, did you spell her? Like, why is she being so friendly to you? So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, is there something deeper there, or is Jen just that person that animals are drawn to because she's a kind soul?
Ashley
and I were talking actually like with the animals. Ashley and I were talking about my son Parker like really wants her dog to love him, but he does nothing to do with him. But our niece Laura can go right up to him, and he's like, "Yes, I love you, tiny human,"
which is so wild.
She's a very calm child.
Yeah.
Like has a very like nurturing energy, and Parker's a wild little boy. So it's funny like how animals are so drawn to different people. I feel like that's what it is, but who knows? Anne Boleyn also could be a high priestess sister.
Right. I was kind of thinking that too. I was like, what is Lorcan's sister again? Is this we also did find out that both Lorcan and Amberdash are going to be at this auction.
Yeah, like all the big key players are supposed to be there. And they don't dive into too much like what it means that they're going to be there. I think that they're just going to try to stay out of their way and like keep them out of the way. But Amberdash did get brought up again. I know one of you said something about him being more important.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Hannah?
Graves also is offering everyone on his team that they get a chance to use the cauldron. So that's their reward for this, that everybody will get a shot.
I had that in my I had that in my longer notes, and then it didn't make it into my compressed notes. But yes, that could help. I mean, I feel like it could help Jen because losing her eyesight and everything. And who else? Who knows what else?
They bring up the curator again, so we learned that in the interlude with the princess or queen, and
they couldn't get any information on the curator at all. Only that he is the owner of the object, kind of the mastermind behind everything.
And that's all I got.
I got one thing, and I feel like it's important. This house still has secrets because apparently there is a swimming pool.
I know, right?
There is a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Graves converted it to salt water.
Yeah, and Kirsten's like, wait, we have a pool? And Jen's like, duh. Jen's been here for 3 days.
She said she encased the entire place, covering every inch of the townhouse the last time she lived here. Where was the fucking pool?
That's funny.
So, still a few secrets.
Yeah, that's true.
Still a few secrets.
It's hidden from Kirst for some reason. He can't handle seeing her in a bikini.
Yeah, but that was off. So, chapter 33. Pierce and Graves get dressed for the frolic as the king and queen of the fairy, which is very interesting. And her dress is very similar to what it was like, the dress she wore to Amani's.
The dress.
Yes. And they're both wearing crowns, which I feel like
gold effects. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what that looks like, but, and of course they do that, she walks down the stairs and she's checking him out. She's like, holy shit, he's totally fine. And he looks up at her and he's definitely thinking the same thing. And they hop in the limo with George. And as they're driving through, they comment on, again, how normal everything looks. And Graves is like, no, because Nate was saying something about, like, they've all gone underground like rats. And Graves is like, yeah, I don't think it's really so quiet. Like, again, it's the calm before the storm, were his words. And so they decide to take this time to work on her mental shields. And instantly they fail against him, which she, of course, is frustrated with. And he's like, well, try and focus on a single memory instead. Sometimes that's better. And so she uses vault breaking in memories. They hold a little bit better, but still not so great.
That's a good approach. So I feel like in other books that I've read, that's the focus. If you're like training your brain to be able to keep people out of it, that you distract them basically with things that
Subterfuge.
Yeah, like it's a piece of the truth or something they're not looking for.
Yeah. But as he slips past her vault breaking skills, he sees the memory through her eyes of how she saw him when she came down the stairs, and specifically her thinking about how she wanted to kneel before him. He's like, well, you can kneel now.
I'll let you do
it. And so he's definitely playing heavy on that. And she's not necessarily resistant, of course. And so Graves is like, he tells her to lower her powers again. And he actually gives her his memory of when he saw her coming down the stairs. And he was equally turned on by her. And she's super surprised by this, like, how did you do that? And it's actually a new skill since the battle in the library.
I don't know what that meant.
That
Right, like
when he pushed that memory of the field,
Oh yeah.
that was the very first time he was ever able to do that.
Okay. So maybe it has to do with their tie, maybe.
Something. And so things obviously escalate to naughty. Yeah, in the limo. And
she can't get her dress is too tight to maneuver.
Yeah, there's no actual like A to B, but close enough.
I'm impressed she didn't mess her makeup up.
She would never. And so as they're getting out of the limo, Graves tells Kears, tonight we are the terror of the night, which is a play on Midsummer Night's Dream.
And that they're unleashing the monsters and all that's been a common crazy. I would like to note that Graves again is being compared to dragon things.
Yeah,
it doesn't fucking come of that.
I know.
Like, why are we talking about dragons so much? He's got dragon scales, like matte dragon scales on his leather, and he's in leather. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
that's all. I didn't have anything to add to that.
Hannah Banana. Okay, so they walk into the frolic, and they're kind of schmoozing slightly into the crowd, and the lead, Lyra Anderson.
I was like, she said the wrong person.
I did it on purpose this time. That is her name. It's just apparently absolutely mesmerizing. Everybody is completely enthralled by her, and Kears comments.
Just kind of turned on by her.
Yeah. She comments on her looks and talents, and Graves even agrees that he finds her very compelling. And
but her beauty doesn't hold a candle to the side before him.
Yeah. That one was a little cheesy. But Graves does let on that he knows her parents, and her father is not happy about her being in this play in general, but he's making roads to make it difficult. I don't know why that was brought up, but
yeah.
But Graves then makes a point to say that he has no interest in sharing her with anyone.
Yeah, I'm not interested in you and me and Lyra. Lyra, however it's pronounced in the book, it's no.
Yeah. I don't care who it is, but it's no. And Kears looks up and understands why, because Lorcan has come into the room. And Amberdash decides to sleuth his way over there, and they're talking, and he comments that he didn't expect to see Kierce at such a function, that she's more garnered toward the shadows. He's like, unless you're here to rob us all blind. Which, I mean, but then he makes a comment about you're treading in dangerous waters. She's like, is that a threat or a warning? Which, of course, Graves is like, choose your next words very carefully. And to which Amberdash is like, I wouldn't want to see you get, he pauses and he's like, swept away, which I still feel like they're going to try and collect her somehow. I don't know how, but like, I feel like somehow.
We do know that he's tied to Lorgan.
Yeah. And so as they part ways, Kierce shows Graves the gold pin that she swiped off of Amberdash.
Girl can't help herself.
No, which is a Men of Valor pin. And Graves seemed to be a little bit surprised by that, which I found to be odd. But
I would see that the key would be more likely to be the person that took over for King Louis. Because he does know the right people. And he's like seedy. You know, he's like planting himself in different places.
just don't get that validation of
he's
power.
probably not a leader.
Yeah, I don't get the strength behind it.
Yeah. So then the show comes to a close, and Kierce is like, showtime. And then the chapter's over.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
35. Kierce finds her way backstage, and with the goal of sneaking a peek at the auction items because they're not listed and they were not provided for previewing before the auction. It's very much you learn as it comes up on the podium. And this is actually the first time I've seen them use earwigs, but the whole team is like very covert. They've all got earwigs.
Well, they do have a security guy on staff now. Murk.
Yes.
Murk the security guy.
I
know his name's not Murk.
It's like, hold on. And as she's making her way, she actually runs into Lyra, and she realizes that Lyra is actually a vampire. And they talk back and forth, to which Lyra not so subtly offers herself to Kierce and Graves together. And so she finally talks her way out of that conversation, and she gets into the staging area for the items, and she clocks where the cauldron box is, but then beelines to the other side of the room because the point is not to draw attention to that.
She's a distraction, remember?
Yes. And so a woman comes up and she's like, wait. Like, you shouldn't be here. And she's like, oh, I'm looking for the bathroom. The woman's like, you need to leave. And so then Kierce decides that she's going to play up the haughty billionaire's wife. And security starts coming over to back up this lady. And Kierce doubles down. And because Laz is trying to break into the closed computer bank where the security guards were actually posted. And she's like, I mean, she's kind of saying some really awful things, but
it has to be so uncomfortable for her. It's not her character to be like, my husband could own all of you. I just am trying to make a list for him. We could buy everything.
She was like, I could buy you. And I was like, yeah. And one of the shifter guards reaches for her, and she ever so melodramatically collapses to the floor like a soccer player calling foul.
Could have been pretty in that dress.
Yeah. She's like, how dare you touch me? You threw me on the floor. And the auctioneer comes out and he's like, oh my God, what's going on? And she plays up the billionaire's wife again. And she's like, your security just touched me and threw me on the floor. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
This dress costs $10,000 and you ruined it.
Yeah. And he's like, the security doesn't know how to handle the high-end clientele. And he politely ushers her out, which she can't argue because he is treating her how she is demanding to be treated, and gives her his assistant to show her to the bathroom. And Laz confirms that he did get what they needed to some extent, I guess. And all of a sudden, Graves comes across the line that they have a problem. And Kierce walks out
into the main area and sees exactly what the problem is. That Amani is at this auction. She was not on the list, FYI.
Did it say what Laz was actually trying to do?
Yeah.
He was like looking into the.
Yeah,
He's trying to learn the secrets of the system, kind
Yeah.
of? Okay,
Because the more info because it's a closed system, so the more they can learn
gotcha.
from the closed system, they can get on the owner. Is my
Yeah, that's the only
supposition.
thing I was like, I don't feel like it got into detail, like, this is a plan, but maybe it did when I skipped over it earlier. Because I didn't want to go through all the plans. Okay, yeah, Imani, ooh.
Yeah, Imani. Ew.
I despise her. Like, just what she uses her power for is
Yeah.
so wrong to me.
Yeah, I would agree with you. All right, 36.
She wasn't invited.
That. So Kirst has a bad feeling about this, and she is remembering how her champagne smelled very floral. The room smells like cherry blossoms. And then now she's remembering how Lyra smelled like flowers. She's like, oh God, Amani dosed the party.
Well, and
Uh-huh.
before that, we did get final confirmation because we debated this a little bit. Maybe in the last book, maybe at the beginning of this one, but Kirst does confirm that Monty was the one that was the werewolf
The culprit behind, like, dosing
drugging.
Ethan.
Yeah.
She does say that. Like, I don't know what we missed when that was revealed that it was Imani.
Oh,
Maybe
I
it's
don't
just an
think it
assumption, who
was
knows? Yeah.
revealed exactly. We were made to make the assumption,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
she confirms it here.
So, and as soon as she has this light bulb moment, she looks at Amani and Graves because, of course, Graves had walked directly over to her as soon as he saw her walking in. Amani blows a handful of the wish powder into Graves's face. Like he's literally choking on it. And Kirsten's like, oh shit. And she's trying to get across to him, but who is to walk into her path and bodily stop her but Lorcan?
He's enough all the time. Like, we don't need him on wish powder.
Seriously.
Like, essentially, like, drunk and high.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very clear. Like, she even notices his pupils are blown out. Like, and on top of that, her wish powder is geared toward the sexual desires, which he didn't need any more of that either. Kirsten's trying to let him know, like, look, this isn't you. You have ingested a lot of wish powder, and he's not having it. And she's like, don't do anything you will regret later. And he's like, I could never regret this. And he is definitely leaning in to kiss her. And she's like, I don't even think I could stop him. Which, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, was that like, I am not going to try to, or I don't, like, he's that persistent right now?
Yeah. It was,
Because she's got slow-mo. She could kick it into slow-mo.
I feel like she could have gotten out of it to some extent. But
Well,
like,
she says, and trapped in his gaze, I
Yeah.
don't think I could stop.
ugh. I just, ugh.
He also was holding her. Probably both.
Yeah. She could have kneed him in the bullocks.
Yeah,
but
I think it was
Yeah.
more
she didn't want to.
emotional.
trapped.
Yeah.
It's a very weird dynamic.
Which maybe we're about to find out why.
Maybe.
So at the last second, of course, the knight in shining armor, Graves, blocks him, and he's like, yeah, absolutely fucking not.
Touch her again, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Good
And
passion.
Lorcan brings up that Graves can't stop it. And he knows it because she is the pulse of his heart, but he says it in Celtic. I'm not even going to try and butcher that. And she's like, I don't know what the fuck does that mean? And he said, you are my soulmate.
Yeah, she knew it meant pulse of my heart,
Yeah.
but she didn't know that meant soulmate.
Yeah.
Like, they're mates, or is it like he just feels this soulmate thing? Like, do mates exist in this world? Because I don't want this.
I don't either.
Denied.
And I feel
Decline.
like there's validity to it because the
Yeah.
first time he called her that, Graves was like,
This is going to be a
white-faced.
problem.
Yeah. Let's move along now. And Graves
that-
is like, let's not talk about that anymore. Let's avoid.
Yeah, that also to me explains like her like how
Right.
she's drawn to him.
Naturally. Like
Mhm.
she doesn't see his bad as much as she should, I don't feel
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
And the fact that she wasn't like kicking him in the nuts just now when he was holding her and trying to kiss her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be a way to break that if that's the case.
Well, did he
'Cause
first call
if-
her that when he found out she was a wisp, or when he found out she was the Wren?
Wisp.
Wisp.
Mm.
Yeah.
And interesting, his wife was a wisp. So I wonder if like
Yeah.
all wisps are his soulmates.
I
I'm
mean,
meant to be with a wisp.
he is missing a wisp from his Triskel. So,
That's if Neve is part of his Driscoll.
well, there's got to be a high priestess in there somewhere. But I digress. Anything to add before we take it?
I don't think so. Well, whenever Lorcan's like, you can't keep us apart, Graves is like, I can still taste her.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
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 Ooh.
He was. I mean, they're both highly under the effects of this wish powder,
Yeah.
too.
I do
So,
forget about that.
Yeah, Kirsten's like, I tried to get in between them, but that's not working.
yeah, like that, it's not going to happen.
I don't like it doesn't really affect Kier so much though, right? Does she turn off of her absorption? Right? It doesn't seem like the wish powder is affecting her.
Well, she only took a very tiny sip of the champagne.
Okay.
And even when they were at Imani's place, like it was being pumped in the air, but she wasn't as affected
Okay.
by that.
Yeah, she wasn't affected until the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next chapter, it rolls right into the same conversation. Kierce is realizing, like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to get in the middle of these two. They're way too drugged down. Like, they're going to do what they're going to do. So Kierce like, I don't know what that means, and I don't want to know. Because as soon as she said, I don't know what that means, Lorcan opens his mouth to try and explain. She's like, I literally don't want to know, and I'm not sticking around for a dick measuring contest. I have more important things to do.
Hell yeah.
What she does, like, before that, contemplate the fact that they both knew this.
Yeah.
And didn't tell her. And she gives some grace to Graves. Like, that would have been hard for him to.
Like obviously he would be like, oh, Lorcan is your soulmate. You should-
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially considering they were on the outs immediately after he said
Mhm.
that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as she's saying this, she's looking around. Imani is gone. Is gone after the cauldron. Kierce turns to Graves and tells him, like, Imani is gone. You need to go find the antidote and come back. And come back to me. Like, I don't have time for this shit. And Laz tells her, like, to ditch him, basically. Get in the car with George. Edgar's coming with the antidote to give to Graves. And so Kierce takes off after Imani onto the rooftop, which she does.
This woman and
catch
getting
her,
whatever on heels and dresses.
Yeah.
Get on the roof in heels and a dress again.
It's pretty wild. But Imani whips around and tells her, like, you're way in over your head. And then this crazy lady just straight up jumps off the roof. And her powers somehow let her gracefully, like, glide down somehow. Kierce is like, oh shit.
Graceful falling? What
Yeah.
power is this? Graceful falling? I need that.
And so she has no choice but to take the fire escape, which she has kicked off her heels and a little sad about. She did like those shoes. But she kicks in to her super speed skills and is basically taking one step per landing, which pretty quick. I'll give her that. And since Graves is out of commission for the time being, to chase or let Imani go is now her call. And of course, she's not letting that bitch get away and almost steal the cauldron. So she has Laz tell George to pull around to the side she's on. She hops in, and it's George driving, and then her and Laz are basically the only two available to go after her. And
they know that Amani is following an armored vehicle that has the cauldron box in it. But it turns out there are 2 cauldron boxes. One is a decoy, which I guess Schwartz knew and gave them some kind of heads up for. But he doesn't even know which one is the decoy and which one is the real one. So all they can do is follow Amani to make sure that whether it's the decoy or not, she doesn't get whatever's in that vehicle. And so Laz pops out of the sunroof. Kierce backs him up by going out the side of the window. And mind you, they are just full flat racing down the streets of New York City.
And before this, she's like, does Graves hire race car drivers?
Yeah,
What's happening here?
And I'm getting very like Al Pacino and
It's very gangster.
yeah, just very old school 90s gangster movies on this. So they just rain hell on Amani's car, which I thought was crazy because they're blowing out the windows and everything. Like, she's just driving a normal car. You don't have a bullet, what do you call those? Bulletproof windows and stuff. And some of the return fire from her lackey whizzes right by Kierce, and Kierce is like, oh shit. Like, we've got to figure this out. So Kierce decides to take aim at the tires, blows one out, and she sees power surrounding the car as Amani's trying to actually salvage the damage and let them keep going. But she keeps firing, and she takes out a second wheel, which then causes them to careen into a parked car. And she said it smooshed like an accordion, and the magic poofed out. And they're driving by. The guy that was shooting at them, yeah, he was ejected. Amani's like laying over on the driver, clearly either almost dead or looks dead. And they make a point to talk about how the husband is not actually there. So that's
trail.
Yeah, curious.
Following the other car.
And some of the data turns out to have been corrupted that they pulled. So they don't have any additional intel on the owner or any HQ for the actual auction. So Kierce tells George to keep following the cauldron. Like, they can't let it get away, because if it gets away, they have nowhere to even start looking for it again. And that's the end of that chapter.
I despise Amani. That's what I got.
So as it turns out, Schwartz is actually the driver of this particular armored vehicle that they are after. Well, they can't outright just kill the security guards. They can only stop them. Kierce is like, hold my beer, and jumps out of the limo and onto the back of this armored vehicle.
Not gracefully.
Not
She
gracefully.
does not have graceful following.
She manages to stick the landing, but just barely. She shoots out the lock, and even as she's trying to get in the damn vehicle, she's like flung around and inside. She finally gets in the vehicle, and she's trying to look through all of the boxes to find the cauldron. And Laz warns her at the very last second, a second goblin security guard has dropped in to the back. And right as she turns around, she switches to slow-mo, luckily, because the bullet was about to hit her square in the chest, but she manages to shimmy out of it a little bit and only nicks her arm. To which she returns and empties her entire clip into the goblin, and he is launched out the back and onto the street, dead.
She felt a little guilty about it.
She did. She's like, it wasn't the first one, but I feel like he was probably just, wrong place, wrong, boss. But she finds the box and tells Laz to go ahead and handle Schwartz and make it look convincing. And he's like, oh, I have no problem with that. And she's trying to figure out the safeguards, because there are many anti-theft safeguards on this cauldron. She said the magic smells familiar, of pine and lemon threaded with gold wisps of magic. I haven't heard
Did Kingston? I need to go back and look and see what Kingston's magic smelled like.
Mm-hmm.
if it ever distracted. Because I don't think she could smell magic last time she met Kingston.
I don't think she could.
No. Or maybe she could. She just didn't notice, so that's why she's not placing it.
I'm gonna go back and look and see if it's like mentions his smell.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that she used the word familiar.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't
Mhm.
remember that particular thing. But then she sees the warding stamp of the particular maker is a pair of crossed swords.
Sounds very Kingston-like too.
Yeah. And so she absorbs the warding and turns out it's the decoy. And Laz asks about the real cauldron and Kirsten's like, it's gone. And all of a sudden Graves pops online and is like, no, Schwartz had actually tagged both of the boxes with some sort of LoJack. So they're able to follow the tracker to the other box, which stops at the entrance of Nine Market. And so Graves is 10 minutes out, and Kira's like, we don't have 10 minutes. So they're out there. George pops over to her and gives her a coin into the market. And Kira steps into the market alone.
Dun dun dun.
Todd, Peach Poker Makeup. Anything to add?
I don't think so. That was very high. Like it made it easier to get through the rest of this section because it got more like
Yeah.
Action-y.
high stakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other
Um,
thing I highlighted was again, which I think was last episode, she brings up this language that she
Mhm.
doesn't know but knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like innate.
Mhm.
I wonder if it's fairy.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah.
That could be
It's like
true.
it's just innate that she can understand it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Or maybe she knew it as a child.
Yeah.
And just because her
Oh.
memories are
Mhm.
blocked.
Yeah.
Okay, so the smell was pine and lemon.
Yeah.
And cross swords. Okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Okay. So the part 3 interlude is George. And it's right where Kierce is just stepped into the market and he is admiring how brave she is, like in general, but also for going into the market alone. Like no hesitation, just. And Graves pops up and asks George if he has another coin. Nope. They have one in like one of their downtown offices or something, but there are no other coins. And George then is reminiscing about how he met Graves, which he was a young kid, adrenaline junkie. His dad had a driving service, and he was unable to participate in his own shenanigans because he had broken his arm in a motorcycle accident. And so he was driving for his dad while he healed up, and he was actually Graves' driver for a week. And toward the end of this week, Graves popped into the limo and was like, I need to get to the airport as fast as you can get me there. And George is like, no problem.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. And he drives like an adrenaline junkie and he gets him there, toot sweet, and very calmly like turns around and is like, is there anything else that you require? And Graves just kind of like assesses him and offers him a job, to which George accepts, and he has never regretted. Like he gets his adrenaline fueled needs met by some of the crazy shenanigans Graves gets into. And we switch back over to current moment. Graves is in a full out freak out panic right now. And that Kierce is in the market alone. And somebody's like, well, can you barter for a coin? And he's like, nope, they won't sell me one. And he's like, I'm just gonna eat the fruit. And they're all like, no. And George is the one that tells them, like, that's a bad idea. She's already 10 minutes ahead of you. You don't know that she's in any danger, any immediate danger. You trusted her to get this far, trust her to come back out. And even Laz is like, look, I would back her up in a heartbeat after what we just went through, but
she doesn't need it, and you know that. Which, kudos that his friends are like way on her side. And Graves is like, so you want me to just stand here and wait, like, and not do anything? And George simply just tells him yes.
I think this is just like evident, like how much Kears has changed Graves for the good, and
Yeah.
how everybody can see it. Like he's more reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, George even mentioned like he's never seen him quite like this, and it was a change for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Graves tells Edgar to go back for the other coin and calls Vale for backup. I knew.
Who's Vale?
I was just about to say, I knew that wasn't going to be the last we heard of him. He's the one that saved her by cutting off the dude's head. They were at a steakhouse. He's like he's the
In the night marker.
Oh,
In the night market.
okay.
Wild. But Graves unhappily agrees to wait there for his quote unquote Myren.
We'll wait here for Myren.
Yeah. And then that's for real it of the entire section in that book.
It does specifically say they have never expressly agreed with him before. Like they don't say it.
Yeah.
They let him do whatever he wants. Whatever is in his best interest.
Yeah.
Look at that. Change is on the horizon.
All right. Well, that is halfway through Robin on the Oak Throne.
We did it.
We
even ended at like a pretty decent point in the book. It's not like mid section or something. Like we will start right at section 4.
Yep. Get back into the action, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Well, join us next episode to see what happens. Hopefully.
So exciting.
I was like barely able to even like smile. Just like, I'm so tired.
I'm so tired.
I know. I'm really dying.
I'm so sorry, love. Thank you for sticking it out. I'm glad we got through it.
Of course.
I love you
All
guys.
right. Love you, sisters.
Bye.
Night.